Hi everybody, Graham here, POCGamer, and we're doing something a little bit different today. We're going to take a break from developing the world, and we're going to create a brand new map. We're going to build a hasty village because we've all been there. Game masters, dungeon masters, referees, storytellers, whatever you want to call yourselves. We've all had a point at some period in our gaming life where we're like, wow, this game's going to be great tonight. And then you realize that you totally forgot to, build a village or something like that. So you have to work fast and try to get that done. So that's what we're going to do today. So here we are, building a brand new map using Incarnate, and it's at the pro level, so it's pro stamps and all that sort of stuff. But I'm not going to use anything else. And just before we kick off, please like and subscribe. It's always handy and always awesome. Help grow the channel here. So world, regional, battle map, watercolor cities. I think I'm in, oh, world's too big. Regional? I'm feeling regional, I think. But you know what, let's try something a little different today. Let's go for the watercolor cities beta. Sounds good. Right, so stick with a nice simple map, square, 4x4. All right, so we've got the sky background. So for those not familiar with Incarnate, this is sort of the generic background that you end up with all the time. So we're going to go to Paint, open the catalog here. Let's make this a nice green area. So see, here's all the texture choices you have. There's like a metric ton of them. Could do all sorts of stuff, grass and detail. And what I've got here is a simple grass dark. So we're going to keep it simple, and we're going to make this the background. And we need this to be huge. Like I said, game starts in a bit, and here you are realizing that you forgot to make your village map. All right, I dig it. So next thing we're going to do is we've got that established. And now we're going to come down here, go into our stamps right away. So open the catalog. So this is watercolor cities, which is really nice. And this is an overhead style map system. So this is castles and bridges, core. So let's see here. Small red buildings, small yellow buildings. I really like the desert sets. I always find the desert sets they do look really good. We've got elf frames and labels. Hmm. Yeah, but I want this to look a little different. No, not look a little different, but let's look at regional HD. Here we go. Oh, stick to the watercolor. Okay. And we are going to let's crypts. It's a lot of crypts. So let's go for hills first. Let's do a little bit of topography. Big grass hills. Here we go. So as you can see with these ones, when it's creating the hill effect, what it's actually doing is it is letting you create the effect of like a tiered operation. And this is really good. Like it's a good tool set. The challenge that it can often bring though is that it's very easy to end up with a almost a rice paddy sort of effect where you'll have, like these really super defined steps. And it's not necessarily a bad thing if that's what you're going for, but it is something to watch out for. As you can see with these ones, because of the close proximity that you're working with as you're laying out these hills, you have to often place the piece away from where you'd normally be starting and then move it to where you want it to actually be. Okay, that's an edge. Don't need that for right now. Okay, so that piece, oh, that piece isn't going to work. I need a different bendy bit. Let's see. Okay. There we go. A couple of hills. I'm going to put one more hill down here. Just to keep the topography interesting. Now, one of the reasons I like to put this stuff, throw topography even onto like village maps like this, is simply because it creates a sense of movement through the village area. Like I'm gonna add like little water features and some other stuff too. And by doing that, it helps create like a nice sense of flow for the characters to or for the players to interact with. Kind of guides them naturally through the village. Like, okay, we enter here, it flows this way, or what have you. And people may or may not agree, or may or may not like doing the same thing. But it's something that I've found useful. There we go. Got some nice little hills. Okay, so roughness, subtract. Hmm. All right, so I have what's happened here is I have rushed and made an error in life. That's fine. Even when you make mistakes, it's all fine. It's all good. Nothing to worry about. So what I can do quickly is come back here to the paint, open the catalog. Uh, so I like water blue. Come through. Change all that water. Oh man, this would be a cool island map. Maybe I'll do an island map next stream. I do love diving in islands. Okay, so let's do that. Come back here. Okay, so we're adding textures. Make this bigger. Oh yeah, we can. 200. So one of the nice things about this little error that I made is that I got to see exactly what this selection up here looks like, the roughness. Because you want to try to match the roughness generally with the other features so that it doesn't look like it's too fine or too coarse. There we go. So now what we can do is come. We're going to paint our foreground. Select this one, and we're going to shrink it down. So this trick, like many that I use, actually comes more from video games. That you can use rougher looking textures like this to indicate areas that are more wild than the areas that the players would normally be in. Or that what you expect in a village. Let's come up here, select grass. Got simple dark. It's a lot of gothic horror textures. So this is Grass Simple Dark, and we're going to use Grass Simple Light to color in this area here. Never be afraid to do a little bit of like on the fly brush size adjustment to get into areas. So it'll save you time down the road of getting into it and trying to figure out, where you had overlap or where you've got some mixture for transitional space that doesn't look the way that you want it to. Then we're going to come back here, open the catalog, and we're going to select the Simple Grass Dry. And that's what we're going to put up here. There we go. So, looking pretty good so far. Now we're going to come back over to here. Hit our subtract tool. Let's raise the roughness up to that. To 15, and we'll try that's too rough. Alright, that's not too bad. So let's make this corner up here. To the entrance to a sort of a lake area. And come back down here. See if they have marsh. Nope. Swamp. No, really. Debris, clay, so a bunch of different soils. Winter textures, water textures, farm textures. So I have like farm and desert textures, but no marsh or swamp. Okay. Let's see what they have in watercolor battle mats. Nothing. Okay. Adding to the challenge. Not a problem. All we have to do is adapt and overcome a little bit. So we've got a bunch of these crop ones here. That's supposed to be a flower bed, I guess. Hay does not look like that. That's straw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select Dark Grass Basic from the Gothic Horror. Select that. Yeah, that should be good. It's a thing to remember, even when you're designing a village can be an entire setting, like micro setting unto itself. It's not just a place to stop and have the player characters refill on torches and all that sort of thing, although that's absolutely an option. Um, so adding the extra little features like this can be a huge help. So let's come back to the catalog here. Let's see here. Clay soil, brown soil. No, no. Where are the desert textures? Here we go. Desert street? What? Dunes, sand, detail. Okay, and I'm going to use desert simple yellow light. And that is going to be a beach area. So I don't know about anybody who's watching right now, but where I live in British Columbia, a lot of our lakes are like this. They'll be like a nice, like a very small beach area, and then a lot of marshy area. Moving away from that, and so just repeat that, and then you have this transitional space here that's very abrupt between like grass and beach and grass and marsh area. Like even in places where it's not like an unnatural, like man-made beach, it's like that. I got a comment here. Big fires. Yes, there will be a little bit more Chult stuff and a little bit more Forgotten Realm stuff coming out. Um, Not sure when, but there will be a little bit more because I still have tons of notes from that Lord Iver series and the like the post that I wrote about it. So there will be more coming out about that stuff. Not sure when, but definitely at some point next year there will be more. Make sure it's all colored in there. There we go. I like it. All right, so we've got our hills, got our little beach area here, marsh area. All right, back into our catalog. Hmm. Will I use this map for a game at some point? Ah, probably. Giant tree crowns, giant trees, foliage, conifers, foliage palm. Wow, this is some limited. Oh, here we go. Oh, they have acacia trees. Nice. those up. Some trees. Hmm. Love how elf homes are apparently snail shells. That's very funny to me. Don't know why it's funny, but it is. It Okay, I see how they're working it here. So scatter some buildings around first. Let's go into the medium size. Back into it. And let's grab a those noble buildings. Noble, no, no. That's that farmhouse. Let's grab one of these ones too. All right, now let's start putting all this together in a way that makes sense. So one of my pet peeves in world building is always when places get built and there's no sort of rhyme or reason to it. Like they're spread out and there's no sort of defenses. So after I get the village put together, let's see how am I doing for time. Oh, not too bad. Half hour into it, we're laying the things out. So after I get the actual buildings down, what I'll do is I'll look at how to. Oh, 200, I'm going to save this. Lake Village, super creative name. Um, After I get the village roughly laid out, what I'll do then is I'll go around and get sort of some form of defensive work set up because fantasy worlds are inherently unsafe. And one of my big pet peeves is when there's like these modern urban sorts of areas, or like our fantasy images of what villages looked like, just plunked down. You're like, wow, this is an open space for inviting monsters to come and eat all the people. Oh, absolutely. Do I have inspiration from real life fortified towns? Yes. There's some really cool ones, especially when you get into like when you get into Eastern Europe, when I was there many years ago, I was deployed to Bosnia, and I went to Hungary on leave and saw a bunch of really cool stuff there. And oh, I just there we go. Saw a lot of really cool stuff there. And since then, I've looked at other things there, and there's a lot of amazing fortified villages that were built in that area just because there's so much conflict in it. It's very, very different from Western Europe. And then if you go to um, parts of China, where they're still building in the same general style. I can't remember the name of the houses. They're like these massive round buildings that hold like multiple families that are just fantastic, really cool. And then there's Africa, and like both West and East Africa, just wild. Not just like the fortified villages, but like fortified like the way they went about designing just like their home compounds. It's just amazing. Yeah, super cool stuff. And yeah, there's absolutely inspiration that I'll take from all those. So I already have this is the so I'm gonna come in this up here. There we go. And yeah, I am unapologetic about admitting that I take inspiration from those places. They are amazing. And the cultures that created them, like the concepts behind them, just fantastic. So see here, I've created a little bit of a village square area there. Oh yeah, I could totally see that. Southern Spain's got some really cool stuff going on. Um, so yeah, the depth of history there and the number of people that have had to fortify things is pretty high. So yeah, I can absolutely see drawing on that local area for inspiration for fantasy maps. So these two little buildings seem more like sheds to me, so I'm going to put them up here. Hate it when I accidentally shrink something. There we go. All right, let's go back in here for some more stamps. That's a dock? Oh, okay, I see how that's supposed to work now. All right. Staring, I'm like, that's not a dock. What is going on there? Oh, the way I'm way I'm theorizing it is that there's probably something dangerous in the water. I mean, it's fantasy world. There's likely to be something dangerous in the water. You know, just like statistically speaking, something horrible is probably in the water. Um, but water is also a great resource for like fishing and all that sort of thing. So what I'm doing is I'm putting in put in like a dock area and stuff like that. So you know they can enjoy some benefits of their of the lake. That doesn't look right. There we go. Yeah. Avoid manigators on the dock. Yeah, yeah. It. I feel bad for a lot of fantasy worlds and for the people just trying to like make a living in them because everything's pretty much stacked against them. Like you go into the forest, there's at minimum there's wolves, but there's also probably you know who knows what else. Trees trying to eat you or do whatever. Yeah, it's just a bad time. Hmm. These docks are really weird. I'm trying to figure out what the idea behind like blurring them like this is, and it's not looking good. I'm not gonna see if I find some different docks. Cause yeah, that just castles and bridges. Yeah, that doesn't look like a dock. So maybe watercolor battle mat. Wooden bridges. Hmm. Crates. No, no, no. Gritty crates. Gritty, gross. Let's see what they have for bridge, maybe. Yeah, here we go. Gonna have to shrink that down a bit. So going from battle map to yeah, that looks a lot better. So let's fit screen. There we go. Yeah, that's about 1,000% better. Wow. Yeah, just the right amount of like rickety to functional. go. Now let's give them a little bit of farmland here. I remember seeing. Oh, that looks good. And I can just hit that, make it a little smaller. Make that a lot finer. Let's see here. Stamps. Yeah, so before I use more regional battle map, let's see what they have in watercolor cities. Oh yeah, there we go. So everything else is size 250. Let's see how that looks. That is the giantest pile of hay ever. Yeah, let's make that smaller. A few of those down. We can catalog, close that. No, it doesn't have quite the same vibe. Yeah, it's not the same. Okay. Always good to check. All right, so castles and bridges. So let's get a couple of these gatehouses here. Size 250. we'll deal with the towers after we put the walls up here. Here we go. Palisades. Let's check down this happen. There we go. All right. So that tower there. Nope. So the thing with fortifications is that you don't actually have to fully encircle a place to properly defend it. It helps and it's better, but in instances where you have um, natural terrain features you can lean on, you can leverage those natural features in order to sort of like take a few, um, skip a few steps in fortifying, which isn't uncommon if it's available. So, see, for example, here we have this hill with a bunch of trees and stuff on it. But we have the obvious and easy approach that's coming in from the north. So this isn't a giant village. I don't imagine they're super wealthy. I mean, they've only got one field so far, but that's more my fault. Um, and so, yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can wall up to the edge of the forest here. So you see they've got a regular little tower here out to the swamp, covering that obvious approach. Then you have a fortified tower up here on the hill that's sort of overlooking a wider area and providing security and protection. So that means you just like, if there's a threat or something, you can throw out hasty pickets or something here. But you don't have to worry about the main advance coming down that way. And I'm going to do the same thing down over here. Push those out. A couple of these guys. A couple of regular towers. Let's put a fortified tower over there. Now, obviously, if there's some sort of like major threat from the forest or something like that, they would make sense to build a full wall. Let's see, how do you feel this? Yes, age does generally guide things a little bit. So I would say this village is, but I don't so much use it as like in terms of like how many hundreds of years a place has existed, because there's in the real world there's villages that have existed for tons of time that have never grown significantly. Like they never sprouted into full size, like full blown towns or cities or anything else like that. So I go more along the lines of whether or not a place is well established or not. And so this particular village is something that I would say is it's an established village. It's been around. It's permanent. Its population is not maybe not necessarily growing, but it's stable. Yeah, yeah. That's a good word for it. Yeah, it's got a stable population with a stable economy, and so it's capable of existing on its own. I'm just going to add another fortified tower. There we go. So it's capable of existing on its own without a lot of or without exterior assistance, except for in like big big occasions. Like if there's a major invasion happening or something. Um, in a tactical sense, this would be a strategic location. You know? So the reason I move those around is because those generally you want to have clear fields of observation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not a new development. Um, and another factor with that is layout. Along trade route first. Exactly. So yeah, this village is it's obviously big enough that it's worth valuable enough that it's worth fortifying. So I may end up I'm gonna go overtime today to get some more done on this. But yeah, the actually so got a little bit of economy going on there. Why does that keep happening? That's weird. I'm gonna hit the save button. The reason I chose these palisade style walls is because they're, at least in my imagination, they're easier to build without professional engineers there to guide everything. It's the sort of thing that a village could reasonably build after the planting's done, and sort of thing that they could also maintain. Get those fortified towers up to the high features. Another swamp tower there. So as you can see, like this is all come together very quickly today. Like it, I'm just at 1 hour now, and not including me talking. Um, sure shows how quickly you can assemble something. And not just assemble some, have it look pretty decent. There we go. All right, so now we've got the village. We'll throw a couple more buildings into it. One more shed. Let's see if they've got like a temple. There we go. Oh, that's no fun. Temple's got to go in the water. Go by the water. There we go. Let's move this down here. Yeah. So now we've got a temple. Let's throw a few more buildings. I think there's some more special buildings. Temples, temples. Okay, so before I do that, I need to. Yeah, let's do that again. So now the path tool is tempting to use to build a roadway through here, but it's not the best tool because it's just going to create like a point to point, which is good if you're looking for more of a like video game like here, here, here. But this one, the village looks a little bit more organic, a little bit more natural, such as it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to paint, open the catalog, and we're going to select this one. Here we go. Maybe we'll throw a fountain in there afterwards. There's got to be a better. That's a little better. No, it is not making it easy to make a. They have gravel as an option. Um, yes. This stuff is a bit of a series. Well, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, so let's go. So that. Yeah, I started a mapping series where I was doing just like a generic world or doing a video game style world map that I'll be going back to probably next week. So we're in the naming process of it, and yeah, I just thought today that I would take a nice break and do something a little bit different. So I'll figure that out in a bit. Oh, awesome. There we go. All right, now let's sort out some of the cobblestone. So we're just going to imagine this village got their village improvement funding. We managed to throw down some cobblestones to make life a little better. So of time. Oh yeah, so 10. So an hour and 10 minutes, and I've got a pretty functional village going on here. So the reason that the road doesn't seem to make any sense is because, by and large, people don't make sense for the paths they take to do stuff. And generally, planned villages or planned settlements will have like a grid style layout. Okay, I'm going to put this. This one. Yeah, it's the better one. I do need to have a little bit better of a connection there. So Yeah, there we go. That was better. I just want to emphasize that this is not a definitely not a pro level map. This is the sort of hasty map that you can knock together very quickly. If I was trying to do this like a, you know, try to bend my GIS skills to make it look a little better, it would we'd still be placing houses from the beginning, and probably would have laid out the walkways here first. So this area up here. Let's see if there's any stairs or something like that. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, this is definitely a first draft map. Like this would be me getting my panicking a couple hours before game. Realizing that I have to knock something together very quickly. Now, where are my stamps? It's down to 150. So you'll see what I'm doing here in a moment. I should probably connect the beach up. We'll do that in a moment. Okay. So why did I drop all these little things down here? So this is the natural thoroughfare, the main thoroughfare through the place. You know, big road. This is more of a secondary place to see. It doesn't have as nice a direct uh, space. So this is where people are going to be coming. So here's where we could set up little shops. And connect little shops up to the houses. We can have a few of these sort of tent ones here. There we go. Let's see if there's a fountain. I'll be surprised if there has to be a fountain. Helps if I spell fountain right. There we go. How's that? Place one fountain there. This other shaped one here. Shrink it down to 100. There you go. A couple little fountains for there. Right in the middle. There we go. All right. Let's see. Got a few little fields. All right. There we go. So I think just about everything's hooked up. Let's hit that save button. All right, so I think I'm gonna go to the hour and a half point. Then I'll bring this to an end. So honestly, I wasn't sure how far I was going to get, and I'm really happy with how far this has gone in the space of an hour and 20 odd minutes. No, that's fair. Thanks for joining me. It's been great and great conversation too. All right, there. Da, 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 da. All good. All right, so let's add a couple of hugs. Thank you. That's awesome. I hope more GMs make use of tools for this stuff. Yeah, no worries. I am always glad to share the process for all this sort of stuff because it helps people see how it is and how it works. Let's add some foliage here. A little bit of beautification. It's just because it's fantasy doesn't mean that people don't want things to look nice. All right. Yep, it's 5 minutes to make all this look good. The nice thing, especially if you're adding stuff like this, is you can use it as role playing hints. You can have people say like, "Oh, you gotta go by this, and you'll find the look for these plants, and you'll find so and so," and it works. It works great, and it makes the place seem a little bit more alive. I'll throw some tree trunks down for the kids to play with. Let's see if they have an altar. Altar? I can't spell things. Alright, so just a quick look through here for anything else. Oh, here we go. Oh, of course, it's all there. Let's drop a couple of wells around. There you go. Everyone's got access to fresh water. So they're just using little boats here. Just give them a couple of boats. You got some boats. And a windmill. And yeah, I think that's going to be there we go. All right. So we're gonna hit the save button one more time and review what happened over the last about hour and a half. Fit the screen. All right. So over the last hour and a half, went a half hour over the planned time of 60 minutes, but hey, that happens sometimes, even when you're doing prep. And the goal today was, to create a village. Basically, the idea behind it is that games coming up. You're the GM, DM, storyteller. You've realized, oh man, I forgot to make a village map for tonight's game. So you hop on Incarnate and you make a map. So I started out with a 40 by 40 square map. I selected the watercolor city map and got to it. So obviously, limited time. You're not going to knock out a professional quality map, but you can make something that looks like this, and it's perfect. There's all sorts of things going on in this map for people. Hang on, I'm just going to rotate. That's bothering me. There we go. Okay. So there's all sorts of things going on in this map that let you start telling a story, and let you use this as, whether it's a rest stop or a micro setting, it's possible to use it for it. Yeah, I made a change, so I hit the save button. It's reflex. Um, so we had the 40 by 40 square map. Just keep it simple. We have, come on, there we go. So first thing I did was I laid out some hills. Here's where the towns elites live. I don't know, nobles, whatever. Anyways, they're up here. They got these like twin homes looking out. Nice little flowery area overlooking that. Good times. Got a big hill here and a big hill here. I did that because I wanted to create a certain level of flow through the place. Next, laid out the grass, all that good stuff. Put down some trees, and then you know shotgun blast of village buildings. Arranged them more or less where I wanted them, and then started work. Created this what I call sort of a natural pathway of buildings. Got some fields down here, like a little agricultural center operation happening. I may come back to this map and like clean it up and do some more with it. I'm not sure yet. I actually really like it. This worked out a lot better than I thought it was going to. We have a lake up here. We got a couple of piers that we ended up using battle map symbols for. Although, now that I look, I see that they were what I was looking for was actually like right here. But that's fine. That's always something we can come back to later. Uh, we fortified the village, so it's not a 100% encirclement because you have a lake here, so that's there. But the obvious angles of approach have been covered off. So you have a fairly steep hill here, a couple of fortified towers. You've got your gatehouses, 3 of them. A couple more fortified towers over here and over here. Actually, just sort of rotate this dude. There we go. And see, this is what happens. You start doing stuff, and you realize, like, oh, I forgot to do this. I'm a tool bag. Because, if you can't actually get to your towers, what's the point in having towers? Um, as I'm literally doing modifications to it, as the game is coming up. There we go. Um, but yeah, there's stuff happening here. We've got a temple, we've got a windmill, we've got a couple of big buildings, we've got a little market area with a fountain, got some wells, all sorts of stuff. So basically, this could be a starter village. This could be a place where you stop on the way. This could be a base of operations for an entire campaign. The options are there, and it's also expandable. Okay, as you can see, there's lots of space still inside the wall. There's space outside the wall. I could add a little bazaar out here. I could add some other features. I could probably throw some stuff in the water, but there's options. And this is the sort of thing that you can knock together very quickly before your game. So for everybody who joined me today, thank you very much for joining me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for making it through to the end. My name is Graham, POCGamer. You'll find me on social media as POCGamer.